Hi, it's Misty again. I am back here in where we left off in the last segment. We're just going to be in FL Studio today. It's a different day and a different time, so who knows what we'll discover. I got our project open and I gave it a listen a second ago, and I was thinking this is one of those times where you revisit a track that you worked on and it just sounds completely different. But that's not a bad thing because that just means it's hopefully alive. You know what I mean? Okay, so we're gonna play what we got. Pretty groovy. One of the things that I didn't mention last time was the control section down here. You can use this to change the value of specific notes and across a number of different parameters. Like you have the pan, you have velocity, which is like how hard the key is hit, release, which affects some layer of release. I don't know exactly how FL Studio does it. Some ones that I'm not sure about, pitch and note repeat, and then some that are specific to the channel that you're on. But usually I just stick to pan and velocity because with those two you can get most of what you want. Everything else you can just sort of do here, but in my experience I only use those two really. So we're gonna start off with velocity, and we're hearing a drum pattern still. So since I lowered these two values for these two notes, these two hat notes, it's slightly lower for those hits. So imagine if you're hitting the drums in real life, this is essentially just a lighter hit. But enough of repeating the same thing. I also want to mention that you can restrict which ones you're editing, because sometimes it can get, if you have like a lot of notes, it can get really complicated because it's all layered on top. So it's good to be able to like command click and just select multiple, or you can use the box tool here to select what you want. And then when you go here to velocity, or the control section, you can click and hold, and no matter what you do, it'll only paint and set those values to the ones that you have selected. So that can be a really good way to like do like a swooping effect on notes or something like that, or like rising or jagged or anything you want really. I like to do, I like to do like staggered drum patterns. But I also like to like make it go on the left and right. I'm gonna select all, or you can just select none, and that lets you edit them all. So you hear how it's divided up spatially now. this is a big part of the control for specific segments for panning that you have access to. So now we have some sort of beat. I like to go in and experiment with different sounds. So maybe we'll go with Destructor again, and we can have a look through some of the presets. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that sounds like someone killing it in the back of a warehouse. And one of the things you can do is you can like mix your effects here. So this is similar to how you mix here, but it's for your effects. So like if I have this dial at max, which is what it was at default, that means 100% of the sound from this insert is going through the Destructor effect, or any effect stack that you have here. If you want to half that, you put it 50%, 25%, if you want to do a quarter, etc. And then when you start factoring in other effects, one of the most popular is where is it? Sound Goodizer, because it's simple and it has 4 presets, and it's like a mini version of another more fleshed out module. But as far as I know, it's some sort of the FL Studio community relies heavily on it in a very memey way. Is all I can say accurately. But it's good to just experiment with, because it is a very powerful module in its own right, and it can make a big difference. And so I've got these 2 effects here. With Destructor, you can go and toggle each layer here. This was the preset one. What the plugin is actually meant to do is you can load in these modules or leave some blank, and have these different effects layered into one system, and each of these do a little bit different stuff. So filter is a good one, because it's just a big bank of different filters. If you ever see Resonance, that's sort of, as far as I understand, it amplifies the sound profile at the point that a filter is being applied. So if I have a filter being applied on a high pass here, and it's about half, that means the sound profile right now is being filtered about 50%, I think. Resonance will still do that, but it will concentrate or compress the profile towards the point where the filter is in the profile, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, probably not, but I think that's a decent way to say it. So we got some volume knobs at the bottom here. Mix is the same as these dials here, or not those ones, but these ones here, in which if it's 100, that means 100% of the sound is being filtered. In that case, in this case, only about 70% is being filtered, and of that 70% is what these filter settings apply onto. And then this is out volume, and then in volume. So we basically just turned off 3 of these and left a filter on for a destructor. We have our sound goodizer now. I'm liking that one. So this is a good place to go to our master. I like to put a master EQ onto. We already have a module for EQ, but I'm gonna do a second one here that controls everything after the effects stack that we have on the master. So I'm going to use frequency splitter because it's a more advanced EQ. And so the way to use this one is it splits it up into 3 or sometimes 2 if you have some turns off, or this one. It lets you control your intensities of different frequencies in the profile. So this side will translate it left and right. I'm not sure if frequency splitter is included. If not, I won't spend too much time here, but there's other ways to achieve this kind of EQ effects in other EQ modules. Use 3 for this one. I'm gonna raise our high end. Maybe a little bit less. You can change the degree of the slopes here. If I want something more shallow, do that. That's good enough for now. It's kind of sounding like an underwater temple soundtrack to me. I'm envisioning like bubbles and like sea stars and perilous ocean trenches, that kind of thing. But of course, you can use your imagination with this stuff, or you can use it to sort of steer where you're going. And in this case, my inner emotion is telling me that I want to add a convolver layer because, as far as I understand, convolvers, in my experience, a pretty fun one. That's a great way to describe it, I guess. I like it because it's got a lot of presets for your room profile, reverb profile. I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm not committing to the name. But it basically structures how the sound is supposed to feed back against the simulated room that you're playing your music in. There's a lot here. And these are all, as far as I understand, recorded from real rooms in the real world. With the Convolver, it's less strenuous, I guess, to sort of rip off a preset, because it's more about a wrapper around your profile rather than like the profile itself. That's kind of interesting. If I don't mention what some of these dials do, it's because I don't really understand them fully. I know that they have a big impact on the sound. The dry and the wet dials affect I think the quality of the reverb. This has to do with separation, and then we got some loop back and stretch kind of effects, I think. I'm not going to be touching those at the moment. There's also an equalizer in here. I don't really use the equalizer for a Fruity Convolver, but it's there if you want to. Since this is already 100% applied, I'm gonna turn it down. So now we have like a little bit of a back, like echoey sound for the drums. And now we want something for this. So I'm gonna do another one. Actually, instead of this, I want to show something else. So I'm gonna remove that. I'm gonna add something called Patcher. And this is one of the most powerful plugins that I have hardly used, but I learned how to use a little bit of it a while ago, and I want to show some of that. So Patcher is really nice because it lets you here. So it lets you, right now it's playing as it was before, but it lets you pipe in a whole host of effect stacks that you can sort of build within this workspace. And it lets you connect your control surfaces to it, to specific parameters if you want. I'm not going to do that at the moment because I need to look more into that. And that's where the surface side comes in. You can add bevels, buttons, boxes, digits, labels, keyboards, knobs, sliders, pads, and all sorts of things. I don't have... Are there... Well, my FL Studio just crashed, so that's always fun. But I don't know where we left off. I'm doubting that got saved. Well, it didn't get saved. That's okay. We had some good lessons in that. We talked a little bit about the Convolver. I just want to go over Patcher real quick. I don't care too much about this track. Maybe for the next episode we'll start on something new. Patcher, it lets you add your own effect stacks Don't press this button. Apparently it crashes your game or your program. It lets you add other plugins within it. So if I want to add like if I want to do like a stack of instruments, I could do that by adding patcher to my instrument thing, which would be here. But right now we're just working with an effect, so we're just going to work with an effect stack. So you could put in multiple flexes and have like multiple synths layered together. You know what? Let's just do that because that sounds more fun than stacking effects at this point. So I'm going to select patcher for a new layer, and we're going to assign it to insert one. We're going to connect this, right? Maybe because we don't have any, because it's an instrument, or because I don't have anything plugged in yet. Maybe I'm going to add flex. There we go. So if I use my keyboard, you can hear the default flex sound. It's kind of neat. So if I want to combine that sound with like a piano sound, I can. There should be a duplicate thing there, but there's not. You just go and add a new one. You could do other plugins, but in this case I'm just going to add another flex, double click it, and then let's add a piano, a Steinway, our favorite. And then now we have two. So that one is still that one. It's not very prominent, is it? As far as I think, you can dial this up. So we can do that. Yeah, so there we can hear the Steinway properly. And then let's dial this up. And so if you wanted to record yourself doing this, one of the good ones is to load in, what is it? I'm blanking. I'll know it when I see it. Edison. Where is Edison? There. Edison is a good recorder. It records separate from your program, and then lets you load in that sound profile as its own MP3 for you to chop in. The downside there is you won't get any MIDI notes to edit. So use this when you are wanting to commit to something. In this case, I've got that effect profile. One thing I could do is like, I think if I go into patcher, or go here into patcher, I go presets, save preset as, you can do your own profiles and come back to them across, oh, that's really late. I'm just gonna click OK because we're already here. It'll let you save across your computer, given that it's all hooked up properly. But in Edison, you can click record, you can click play. Oh, I gotta click play in here too, I think. Forgive me, maybe record on both of these. Or I think it goes when you play. Yes. So if I go to patcher, which is minimized, I'm having trouble with Edison at the moment. Just ignore that. Just know that Edison, when I have it working, can be pretty powerful. It can let you work with sound and clean up audio independent of the program. Thank you for watching this mess of a video. I know half of it is unfinished and half of it was just segmented information and we didn't really make anything. But next time, perhaps that we will do something better. I just wanted to go over a few other things, and yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.